Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fan Frenzy podcast. I'm your host, Chris Borsha, alongside co-hosts Ben Lotman, Gabe Layden, and Jake Holdzauer. Today's going to be a bit of a long one. We got plenty of news to talk about, but just to give a little news report, there's been a lot of NBA stuff going on recently as of, for all my basketball fans out there, obviously the draft was yesterday, the first round, second round being today, just actually started. So we will be giving live reports of the second round. Hopefully Bronny goes. That would spice up this show a good amount. Um, but so yeah, some of the news that we had was Mikal Bridges was recently traded to the Knicks. Haha, you got no more draft capital. You got no more draft capital, buddy. 5 first-round picks, a pick swap, and a second plus Bojan Bojanovic, which you just traded for. So that was kind of a pointless trade to trade for him. Malcolm Brogdon was also traded. I don't have the full details on me at the moment, which could someone get that for me, please?
I know he was traded to DC for Denny Avdia.
Yes,
I know that.
It was Malcolm Brogdon. I believe it was the 14th pick and a 2029 first and 2 seconds.
Okay, so that was a
For
really
Denny
stupid
Avdia.
trade once again for Washington.
Yeah, I think that was a great trade for
Portland.
Yeah, I've seen some mixed
Yeah.
reviews on it. I really like where Denny
When
Avdia's game is going.
when you're
But
a
they're
team,
tanking.
when you're
That's
a
what
team that
Washington's doing.
needs to rebuild, and Denny could be a piece of that rebuild because of how young he is and how versatile he is for a wing, and then you just you ship him off. Like, he was one of the only guys who can ship reading on your team, and you just ship him off for what? Brogdon's what, 31 now, 32? It's kind of pointless.
I think I saw somewhere that was saying Washington is trying so hard to tank any player that has any value in winning is going to get traded. So Kyle Kuzma is next. Malcolm Brogdon is going to get traded probably for like a few seconds. Jordan Poole does not value winning, so he can stay.
He actually helps.
I like Denny though. When Denny gets his shots, he scores a lot. So
yeah, I like what Portland's doing
too. He can play point guard low key.
There was also
I really like what Portland's doing with that trade because they don't need more guards. Like Malcolm Brogdon was just excess.
There was also 2 other trades that happened. The crazy one was Rob Dillingham was traded during draft night yesterday to Minnesota for a 2030 first round pick and a 2031 first round pick and a 2030 first round pick swap. That is a steal for Minnesota for a kid that I'm so high on, dude. Dillingham
tell me
is
what
so
you
good.
See. Tell me what you see that far into the future. Like, what's the point of even making that trade?
It was stupid. That was really dumb for the Spurs. It was a really bad trade.
So here's my suspicion. I think the Spurs are just trying to get draft capital for them inevitably to trade a bunch of first round picks for an all-star player to pair with Wemby. I don't think that might not happen this year, but a lot of people have been making that Trae Young connection, and if you're going to trade for Trae Young, you need a bunch of picks. So I think that's where that trade comes from.
I don't like that though, because they got Castle at 4 too. So I understand trading Dillingham, Castle, one of the two, because they're both point guards, but
I think Castle fits better with what San Antonio wants to do. I think great defender, really solid in the pick and roll. He doesn't need to shoot the ball offensively. Wemby's going to get a bunch of shots. So, I think it fits better. But I will say the Spurs got to find some more shooting this offseason because they have no shooting at all around Wemby.
The last trade that happened was the Knicks traded during draft night. They traded pick 24 for pick 26 and a second round pick later on today. So they traded the rights of Keyshawn George. And you guys drafted who at 26, was it? I know you drafted at 25. It was Pacome.
Pacome at 25, and then at 26, Dylan Jones.
It was Jones. Okay, cool.
Yep, and that trade was just to get more draft capital after the Mikal Bridges trade.
No, obvious. Yeah, that was obvious. After blowing out all your draft capital on Mikal Bridges, but
I'm getting to a rant later into the show about that.
All right, whatever. Other news around. Hassan Reddick is supposed to be at the New York Jets organization, guys.
God, bro. This guy's
He's supposed to be at
Reddick.
mandatory meetings. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there on vacation. I went, oh, he posted on Instagram? Let me check. I click on the story. This dude's dressed up as Samurai Jack in Japan, not caring at all. That was hilarious to me, bro.
Dude, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, Chris is going to talk about it on the next pod.
He's going to wind up getting cut because he don't want to play there, and then the Eagles will bring him back, and I'll be excited again. I'll be happy again. They'll bring him back.
Can you imagine? That would be crazy.
It'd be hilarious.
One of the greatest moves in Eagles history if they were to predict that.
It'll happen. Watch. It's great. Two more things for news. They're both kind of funny. If anybody else saw the Instagram post of Zach Wilson in the Broncos attire, he really looks like Drew Lock.
He does.
Which I thought was really, really funny.
Also, they called him like the younger brother from Incredibles. I thought that was
Dash. Yeah, that was funny. Last little bit of news. This is kind of towards somebody, and I hope they tune into this episode. Mr. Antonio Brown, I'm tired of you. The world is a better place without you. Stop talking crap on all my Philadelphia athletes. Just because you don't like Jared McCain painting his nails doesn't mean you get to call him slurs now, buddy. He might have a longer career than you. So, like, I don't want to hear it.
I was looking at the comments on that post, and that's all they were saying.
Dude, he is a horrible human being. Antonio Brown is a horrible human being. And you see it day by day because he does those Twitter posts about 20 times a day. Dude, so please find something else better to do with your life. Please.
That's all he does now. That's actually all he does. He's just on Twitter all day.
Exactly. Like, find something else better to do with your life, buddy. Like, you only live once. Stop wasting it on being in, moving forward into our first segment, we're going to touch base on both finals in hockey and in basketball. So I'll let you guys decide. Should we start on basketball or hockey?
I just want to get hockey out of the way. Honestly, they're both upsetting. So, let's just get the hockey.
Oh, okay. Yo, Gabe, how's it feeling, buddy? How's it feel to be on top?
On both accounts, too. It's not just hockey. It's both. I got
Gave you a heart attack, though. Gave you a heart attack.
Yeah,
bro, they got... Edmonton is actually cursed. They got cooked by the refs in Game 7, and they outplayed them, and they still lost.
Listen, Draisaitl did not do as good as what
He had a broken rib, apparently.
He had no goals throughout the entire finals, which I just thought was...
Apparently, he had either a broken or severely bruised rib, and he might be getting surgery on
At the end of the day, clap it up for Edmonton because they really, really, really fought. They really fought for it. And it's hard to win 4 games in a row. Truly, it really is. When you're facing a good team. I mean, Matthew Tkachuk is an unbelievable player, dude. Forsling really stepped up in that last game. He really stepped up. They were doing really, really good. It was hard for Edmonton to find something going there.
Florida fans started doubting, too, because they started selling their tickets Game 7.
Yeah. All I'm going to say is, too, whoever was at that game and started booing Connor McDavid for winning Finals MVP, there's something wrong with you. He easily deserved that. There's no way around it. He's unbelievable for what he does, and you can't just hate on him for, taking it to a Game 7 when he's one of the greatest players we've ever seen touch a hockey stick. He's unbelievable. I mean, there's not much to say about it. Edmonton is really close to winning a championship. Next year, the year later, whatever. They are really, really close to it. And I think they could easily go back to the finals next year if they keep it up.
Yeah.
You got to move Darnell Nurse and find some other guys. But
yeah. Darnell Nurse was pretty awful throughout the playoffs. But I will say Edmonton did a good job, forcing it to 7. I think, honestly, for the NHL, this series, for at least what I noticed,
was needed.
It was needed. I think it grew the game. I noticed people that just don't watch hockey watching that Game 7 and texting.
Jake was watching it.
This was an awesome. This was one of the best Game 7s. One of the best series that I've seen in any sport.
I would agree. I would definitely agree.
Up there with the LeBron James throw-in comeback in the NBA Finals, which was probably the best series I've ever seen. But
whatever.
Oh yeah, that was definitely rigged.
Draymond Green should not have been. That's a whole different story.
What do you think on
Steve Kerr is an overrated coach? Anyway,
what do you think on Matthew Tkachuk saying to all my fans in Calgary, I couldn't let Edmonton win? That was fire.
I mean, Calgary's never going to win anything, so that's the closest they can get, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I really liked it. I thought it was really funny. Maybe it was just me. Anybody else have any input on that finals?
One question arises for me because of you, Ben. You said that Drysdale was seemed to be injured potentially, but does that hurt his chances of getting that big of a contract now going into the offseason?
What, Draisaitl?
Yeah,
I think it's an interesting discussion because since the cap is going up, they had McDavid signed. So are you really going to pay Draisaitl more than AAV than McDavid?
You're feel like not, that's kind of, but you're gonna pay him around the same amount.
The thing is, though, the argument is there to be had that they could use that cap space to add more depth. And obviously, you don't want to let a player like that go. But if you're Edmonton, I feel like having Connor McDavid attracts free agents and, guys that might come in that are veterans on cheaper contracts to try and win. Like a Corey Perry, like he definitely, he was solid. I know Corey Perry, but he's a solid fourth liner.
Oh yeah, in the past 5 years, he's lost Stanley Cups 4 times.
But he's made it 4 times, which I think is pretty impressive, even though he's lost all 4. But whatever. So you have guys like that, and honestly, the biggest issue with Edmonton is they just didn't have depth scoring. The reason they made the finals was because their third line stepped up a lot, but they don't have the talent to keep that up, in my opinion. And also, their second line, Nuge is like, as a second line center, he's okay. He'd be better as a third line center. So there's some issues with Edmonton's roster construction, but they made the finals. So do you want to run it back with those 2 guys? I think they probably will, but it's a question that it's a reasonable question to ask.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Gabe, do you have any thoughts on it, or like on the finals in general? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, it's just cool that you can see that happen in finals, being down that much and then like actually having a chance, because like there's only so many sports that can happen. And like, it's when you're at that much of a deficit and there's actually somewhat of a chance. And like, yeah, there weren't a whole lot of people saying, oh, they're going to come back down 3-0, but like there's always a chance. So
it's rough, man.
It's exciting. It makes it more exciting than the NBA a lot.
I definitely agree. I think there's a lot to look out for hockey next year. Before we move off of the finals, I want to throw one thing out there. The news has been official. Matvei Michkov is coming this year. Ben, I know you're excited, Ben. I know I'm excited.
So excited. The Flyers now need to be super aggressive in free agency to try and get him to win a Calder, make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I think the Flyers are in a decent position. I think they have some holes in terms of Stanley Cup, but making the playoffs, realistically, they just need to sign a goalie, a few defensemen, and maybe a top 6 forward, and that's a playoff team already. So
well, you had it this past year, right? You were like, you lost how many games in a row to miss the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
it was basically in the palm of your hands.
Yeah, so that's what we have the base. We literally had no goaltending down the stretch at all. So if we sign a guy I want to look out for, Cam Talbot, was an All-Star last year for Washington. He's a free agent. I think that could be a good signing. An older veteran to bring in. That could be a good signing.
Quick fun fact on Michkov. Obviously, we all know what the KHL is. When he was in the KHL, right, he had more points than Alexander Ovechkin in the KHL, which is absurd.
Yeah, the only other player under the age of 18 to have more points than him was Kirill Kaprizov.
And Kaprizov was really good.
Yeah, so. And he's a top 15 player probably in the league. So
yeah, that's kind of a big deal. Also, I forgot to mention, while we were on our little vacation, there was also 2 hockey trades that happened. Jacob Markstrom was traded to the Devils, which was actually a really, really good pickup for the Devils because he's been really good. He's been on fire.
They gave up a lot, though.
Well, yeah, you gave up a first-round pick and stuff, but like Calgary had to move off of them anyways.
Calgary's selling.
They gotta go into a rebuild.
The other trade was an absolute steal, though.
The other trade was Pierre-Luc Dubois for he got sent to the Capitals. And what did they get back in return?
Darcy Kemper.
Oh yeah, Darcy Kemper was Darcy Kemper's like 37, bro. He's a goalie who's like 37 years old. It was kind of a waste. I don't know what they were doing there. And the Capitals got a steal on a 45-point guy.
his contract though, $8.5 million for another 6 years, I believe. So that could turn into a really bad contract. There's also one more trade.
Work it.
The Boston traded their
yeah, I forgot about that actually. Thank you for bringing that up. Linus Olmark.
Yeah,
it's a good trade for Ottawa.
Literally nothing.
That's a really good trade for Ottawa. They've been saying that they were going to trade one of their goalies because both of them have high value anyways, and that was a really good trade for them.
I think Ottawa is definitely a team to look out for next season.
I don't know to look out for. Like
they have a lot of I like their young forward core.
They'll be better, but I don't think they're going to be great.
I think they could push for a playoff spot, to be honest with you. I like what they're building there. They had a big hole at goaltender. Obviously, they don't have a lot of defensive depth, but their top two is pretty solid. So,
all right,
Sanderson, Shabbat. Yeah.
Moving in, well, that's if Shabbat stays healthy. But moving into the other side of the finals, the one that I absolutely despise, the Boston Celtics beat the Mavericks in 5. Wow.
Well, I mean, I predicted that. So
Jason Tatum got carried to a ring. Wow. Shocker.
And he also was fishing for any moment possible after he won the finals.
Dude, this guy literally does not know how to say. This guy literally all he does is look up famous quotes and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna say that." Dude, come up with your own stuff.
No, this dude just looks and stares at pictures of Kobe Bryant and proceeds to pose as him every single chance he gets.
We did it. We did it!
Dude, that was honestly one of the easiest finals pass I've ever seen. To be honest with you.
I would agree. I would definitely agree. A lot of teams were injured this year, and when you have a team like that, like who's gonna realistically like? Obviously, I picked the Mavs because I'll never pick the Celtics. Never. The Celtics gonna play the Wizards in the championship, and I'm picking the Wizards just for the hell of it. I will never pick Boston, but like.
One of them would have to switch conferences, but
that's what I mean. Like I just threw the Wizards out there because of how bad they are.
Yeah.
But like you get the point. I could never root for Boston, and it was just obvious that they were gonna win that. I mean, who's beating a super team like that, bro? No one. Not a healthy Knicks either, Jake. Don't look at me like that.
Hey, I feel like just wait until next season.
I feel like there's certain guys that probably would have had a shot. I think Jokic can solo that entire team if you really if everything worked out, if Jamal Murray was healthy and playing on his game. I think there's a shot. I don't think it's far from guaranteed, but I think Jokic could do some damage against that Celtics team. Again, the chance of him winning 4 games against them in the 7-game series, I don't know, but
it's tough, man.
I don't think
all I'm gonna say is if you want to call LeBron's bubble championship a Mickey Mouse championship, you better call this a Mickey Mouse championship.
I'll give you one team. That only team, right? Or 2 teams. I'll give you 2 teams. Because if either of these teams really played up to their full potential, and obviously one of them needed more experience, but I think the Thunder could have had a shot if they had more experience in the playoffs. And I think Minnesota, if they actually played up to their potential and didn't choke as hard as they did. Karl-Anthony Towns really sold that team, man.
I just think so I agree with you on OKC. With Minnesota, I don't know. They didn't really have enough depth for me. Outside of Anthony Edwards, offensively, they don't have a ton.
Bro. Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah, but
Jaden
McDaniels is their second scoring option. Realistically, on the championship team, he's at best a third.
Nas Reed, bro. He's a dog.
I don't know. I feel like they just need some more depth, which obviously they tried to do in their
Those are the only 2 teams, though, realistically, that I would say. I mean, I don't think Boston will make it back there next year.
I just don't think anybody was going to beat Boston this year. Obviously, I picked the Clips before the playoffs, but
that's fair.
That was more of a hope than a. I did say I will go back and say you can watch the old podcast. I said whoever wins that Clippers Mavs series is probably going to
win the finals.
Is gonna make it to the finals. So
did say that.
I don't like why. I don't understand, and I don't like how Milwaukee is just not loading up right now. They have, in my opinion, they have the best player in the league, and they're just not doing anything with it. They gave him an old Damian Lillard.
Who do you think is the best player in the league?
I think Giannis is still the best player in the league, and I think people forget about that because they gave him the worst coach in the league, and they gave him the worst superstar in the league.
Yeah, worst coach in the league. I like that. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear as day that you see what's going on over there. Like, how do you not coach Giannis to like at least Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals? Like, he's the Greek Freak.
That's actually
unguardable
really funny that you hit him with the worst coach. That's actually so funny, man. He is really bad.
He's got to be up there, right? I think.
Yeah, they should be loading up. Hopefully they make a move soon.
Yeah, I think you got to ship Damian Lillard somewhere else. I think you got to see what you can get for him. I don't think it works.
Ship Damian Lillard?
Yeah. I just didn't like the move from the start. I think you had somebody in Drew Holiday and Middleton that it worked. I don't think that team is going to win a finals again, but I think completely getting rid of Drew Holiday and getting another like replacement that you think is going to be better on offense, it didn't work out. I think you got to go for a star though. You can't settle for like draft picks at this point, especially not with Giannis.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. Moving on to our second segment, we have our favorite segment, our players of the week. Who would like to start this week? Ben, go ahead, Ben. I see your hands pretty high up in the sky. Go ahead.
So I want to talk about a specific manager for a specific soccer team that is playing in a specific tournament right now. Garrett Southgate.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, this guy might be worse than Greg Berhalter.
The two are up there with each other, I would say.
Honestly, that's a debate that, you know, people can discuss at a later date. I think Greg's worse, but I could see the argument for both sides. But I want to talk about him. I also kind of want to talk about the Euros in general because it's been a fantastic tournament so far. Shout out to Georgia for making the round of 16. Georgia, not the state, the country Georgia that some of you may not have even heard of. They made it out of the group somehow. They're playing Spain though, so they're probably gonna get cooked. But
they have that one winger that's worth like 80 million, right? On the
he plays for Napoli. Yeah. They have some solid players, but they have 3 players that play at like a top level, and then the rest of their team is just not that great. You know, some second division players, whatever. But I'm really looking forward to how the round of 16 is gonna play out. Here's my finals prediction. I have Switzerland. Call me crazy. Switzerland or Austria, one of those two. I think those are the 2 best teams. I'm going for Austria to make the final. The one side of the bracket is really bad. So
yeah,
England could make the final even though they suck.
Terrible.
Yeah,
England could make the final even though they're horrible. If you guys haven't seen England play in this tournament, like I don't recommend watching.
I have.
Don't recommend it. They suck.
I've seen a clip or 2 and it looked awful.
The other side of the bracket, I'm gonna go Spain. I'm gonna go Spain. I'm gonna Spain, Austria, and I have Spain winning the Euros. Although I really like what Germany's done. France, no.
France has not been convincing me at all.
Portugal, I think, has a chance. I think they definitely do. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see Austria make it far because Ralf Rangnick has done an excellent job with that team. They're without their starting goalie, their best player, and a starting midfielder, and yet they've been one of the best teams at the tournament. So, shout out to them. England, I think, wins the round of 16 but loses in the quarterfinal. So that's my prediction for them because they were, you know, the team I brought up, and Gareth Southgate is going to be immediately gone after this tournament because he does not know how to coach players. He has the player of the season in England, Germany's top goal scorer, one of the player of the season in Spain, and yet this team cannot score goals. It makes absolutely no sense. I could just go on a tangent all day. His tactics are stupid. Why Saka should be playing on the left wing and Foden on the right wing because they cut in the wings they play on right now. They cut into the space that Jude Bellingham is in. Anyway, I don't want to go on a whole tangent about soccer, but
all right. Fair. Yeah, I like the pick. I like the pick for the week. Yeah. Who's next?
I'll go next.
All right. Let me guess. Tom Thibodeau.
Related with the Knicks, I'm going Mikal Bridges. I'm going Mikal Bridges. I am, and this is why I can get into my rant now. This is why I didn't argue with anything in the beginning of the pod. Mikal Bridges, it's a good trade. At 5 first-round picks is a lot, and yes, he was never an All-Star. But he is a consistent player that.
Let me guess. Did he play with Dante DiVincenzo, Brunson?
Yes. Okay. This is why. Why are people hating on the team for creating good chemistry? I don't understand that at all. You want a team to have good chemistry, and people are hating on them because they're all friends. Josh Hart is out here tweeting like, "Y'all hate me. Y'all hate us because we're friends." I don't get it. They're creating good chemistry. They're going to play well together, and Mikal Bridges is a consistent guy that won't miss any games. He hasn't missed a game in his entire career.
I want to hit you with a question. I want to bear you with a question here. With that trade happening, right? And the recent news of OG Anunoby signing a 5-year, $212 million to go back to the Knicks, which is an immense amount of money. What does the starting lineup look like now? Who's getting thrown onto the bench?
Here's the problem with the starting lineup right now because the Knicks have not re-signed Hartenstein yet. It looks like right now Julius Randle's going to be playing center, which is not a good decision. It's not a good idea at all. But I say you throw out Brunson at the 1, and then
DiVincenzo?
I would rather put Mikal Bridges at the 2. But I mean,
yeah, I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think Mikal Bridges goes to the 2, Josh Hart at the 3, OG at the 4, and it looks like Randle would be the 5 as of right now, which I do not like Randle being the 5.
And then DiVincenzo gets thrown onto the bench?
Yeah, I think he's a great sixth man.
So here's what I think is going to happen.
Or is McBride the sixth
I think Josh Hart, McBride, and DiVincenzo are going to be their bench pieces. They'll put Julius Randle at the 4. Mitch Rob is going to be the 5, unless they might trade Mitch Rob to re-sign Hartenstein. But I think Hartenstein is probably going to end up leaving.
Getting a big deal.
I think he's going to go to maybe OKC. I think that would be a good fit.
After the OG deal, I don't even think they have the money to even be.
They don't have the money unless they trade Mitch Rob. If they trade Mitch Rob, then they have the money. But they have to. But I don't know if anybody's going to want to trade for Mitch Rob because he's not
too injured.
Too injury prone, and honestly, even when he's on the court, like offensively, he doesn't do anything.
Which just gets boards. That's all.
Just defense.
And that's the thing I'm worried about with the Knicks. Obviously, you have a guy in Jalen Brunson who is a good scorer. But outside of him, this team is built defensively, which is fine. But I don't know who. Obviously, Mikal Bridges scores in spurts. He wasn't really efficient. Obviously, the Nets didn't really have much around him. But and Gabe can speak to this. He was never really that efficient on Brooklyn.
We know OG's not an efficient scorer either.
OG's not an efficient scorer. Josh Hart, when he can have spurts, but he's not really a consistent scorer. And Dante DiVincenzo is really just a 3-point spot-up shooter. So I think at some point next season, you're going to see the Knicks looking to trade for a pure scorer that's not good defensively. And then you have to ask the question, can Tibbs have a guy like that just isn't good defensively? And that's something we're going to have to see. And I'm worried about Tibbs. Obviously, he benefits defensively, that coaching style, but can he win a championship? That's my question. I'm excited to watch that. I hope it doesn't happen because I'm sorry, Jake, but all these Villanova players on the Knicks is making me hate them even more. So
agreed.
I think next season as well, potentially look for them to try. They're already starting to talk about it. Try to shop Randle to try to get that offensive score.
Yeah, I think Randle is kind of falling out of the equation / he doesn't really fit on a championship kind of team. His play style.
He's still a good player, though. I think
he's a great player. I don't know where the trade market for him would be, but maybe I don't know because I feel like a Brandon Ingram would fit really well on the Knicks. But I just don't think Julius Randle would fit well in the Pelicans. So who knows?
Brandon Ingram is also a free agent right now. So
I'm gonna ask you one more question before we move off, and then Gabe will say his. Do you think the OG contract's a bit too much?
No, I honestly, as a Sixers fan, I was really hoping he would hit free agency and we'd sign him too. Honestly, I wouldn't even call me crazy. I think he fits perfectly with the Sixers roster. I wouldn't have been mad if we signed him to a max, to be honest. Call me crazy. I don't think he's worth a max.
Man.
I don't think he's worth a max, but I think the value comes in the role that he would play on the team, where versus the value of the contract. Now, by the end of the contract, I know I would be calling for. I'd be like, why did we sign him? Especially if we don't win a championship. But I feel like he could have fit so well on the Sixers team. Perfect fit. Injury prone player, but his role is perfect alongside Embiid, man. And I was really pissed off when the Knicks re-signed him, to be honest, because me and Gabe were talking about it, and I said the one guy I don't want Paul George, I don't want Brandon Ingram, I want OG Anunoby, and I honestly still don't want Paul George, but
I don't think want Paul George either, but
I think Paul George is coming here. I think it's a smoke screen that the Sixers don't want him.
Moving on.
I do think I want to add one last thing. I do think it would be really interesting if Paul George went to Golden State, to be honest.
Me too.
Moving on, Gabe.
Yeah, real quick though, I just want to say I'm not so sure that you guys need a pure scorer. I like where you guys are at right now. I watched Mikal Bridges for like a season and a half.
Listen, I'll be happy if we just sign Kelly Oubre back. That's all I'm asking.
Mikal Bridges can score, and I mean, obviously, we saw him as a first option. So like there'd be stretches where he put up 30 a game for a week, and then the next week he put up 17. But as a second option or third option, depending on, he'd have to be the second option on that team. I think he can definitely provide value. When you have Jalen Brunson putting up 25, maybe Mikal puts up 20. Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo can score. Julius Randle takes the ball away from all of them. I don't think he should be on the Knicks, but whatever. I think you guys are good where you're at. I wouldn't be surprised if you made a finals run. But anyway, yeah, what were you going to say?
Yeah, Mikal Bridges, think of him like when he was with Phoenix, where he wasn't the number one option, and he did good as the number 2, number 3 option over there in Phoenix. I think that's what we're going to be getting, and I'm happy that we're going to be getting that.
He thrives in that role, 100%.
Yeah, you really want to hope he has that 20, I believe, season. He shot like 43% from 3 that year, best of his career. Since then, he's become like a 37% three-point shooter, which I think is solid enough. But, I feel like if you're trading that much for a guy, you want him to shoot a little better than that. He only shot 43% from the field last year, which is not great. So,
Gabe, what is your player of the week?
You guys know me. I like to do my soccer, tennis, F1 stuff, but not this week. I gotta spotlight this guy. Originally, I was gonna do Mikal Bridges. I'm not gonna lie, but I gotta do something else, right? Francisco Alvarez. This guy plays, we win. We've lost like 2 games in the past
your Grimace run is over.
It's not though. It's not because they just absolutely.
Did you guys see what happened to the best team in the league a couple days ago?
The best team in
put up 21 runs on them over 2 days.
Ben, that is not Ben. Do you hear this? That is not the best.
All right, put him at number 2. Put him at number 2 or number 3, whatever you want to do. The Yankees are at the top of the league, and we just dismantled their defense for 2 days straight.
Dude, the Grimace Mets are kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie.
The Grimace Mets are scary. I'm telling you. I mean, he could have been my player of the week if he was an athlete, but I mean, I got to stick with somebody that's actually on the team.
I would have allowed it though. For the people who don't know, though, we're saying Grimace Mets because Grimace threw first pitch out of the Mets game, and they proceeded to win 6 games in a row.
It was like 6 games in a row, and I think out of the last 14 games, we lost 2 or 3 times.
They've been one of the hottest teams in June, and it's crazy.
The Mets are only a game and a half out of the National League wild card right now.
Yep.
And you know what?
A game behind Atlanta, I think.
Wait for this.
It's crazy.
You guys are gonna call me crazy, but I am happy about this. You know why? Because this means the Mets are gonna be dumb and not sell at the deadline, which they should do. They should sell. They should trade Pete Alonso to get a bunch of prospects if they were smart, but they're not. They're probably, if they buy, I'm going to laugh so hard. Imagine buying to be the 3 seed in the playoffs with 0 pitching, and you're going to get cooked. So,
I mean, the Mets history, they honestly, they might buy, but they have had one of the best lineups in June, and Brandon Nimmo has been going off as well. Like, he has, what is it, like a 9 or 10 game hit streak that he's in right now? And
if you're the Mets, yeah, my bad. I think you're the Mets. You ride this wave because it's probably not going to last a whole lot longer if we're being realistic, and then you can sell. I mean, or do what the original plan was. All right, at the end of the day, it makes the most sense to sell, they're gonna buy anyway. Then stick to the course. This happens from time to time that you go on these crazy runs. I don't think we're gonna make the playoffs, honestly. Like it's just not realistic enough, especially when you have to beat out Atlanta or another one of those top teams. Or like Atlanta has been performing that well, but like at the end of the day, they're a whole lot more talented than we are. This isn't our season to win the World Series, right? We know that, but it's fun while it lasted.
And it's good. It's good. It's bringing up a lot of value of trade assets. So if you do sell, this run has been really helpful. If you don't, I think that's a really bad decision. I'm just worried because Steve Cohen hasn't been in a position that makes it so he could sell before as an owner. So we'll see if he allows his management to do that. For the Mets' sake, I hope they do. For the Phillies' sake, I don't really care because the Mets aren't a threat to us. So
you guys are a whole couple levels above us right now. I'm not worried about that.
I'm just worrying about us choking.
That is indeed true, my friend.
At this point.
Moving on though, does anybody have a guess at my pick for player of the week?
You're going. I'm surprised. Wait, hold on. I'm surprised Ben didn't go Jared McCain. I think you're going to go Jared McCain.
Well, I was going to save it for the draft segment. I was going to save it for the draft segment, but you can.
I have indeed picked Jared McCain.
I'm surprised into college, and I'm three
lectures behind. Yes.
Dude,
the
Sixers are on the clock right now too, as we speak.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I have it on.
Ironically enough, and I literally was screaming so loud in my living room. I was with my roommate, and we were both very happy. Jared McCain was my favorite player in college basketball last season, so I'm pretty happy about that.
I'll tell you this, right? My dad does not watch basketball whatsoever. He is not a big fan of the sport. He's more so into hockey and football and baseball, right? I told him, I said, yo, sit down. We're going to watch the draft together. It's going to be a good draft. I liked a lot of the prospects in this draft. He goes, okay. He started watching it. He likes to mess around. He was saying that we should pick up Bub Carrington and Topich. And I'm like, Dad, I don't want those guys, though. I said, I want either Dalton Connect or I want Jared McCain. Was what I was telling him. And then, our pick comes up. It's coming up. Miami's in front of us. I was worried about Miami. Miami, being the dumbos that they are, picked Khalil Ware. So then I started laughing. And then Jared McCain's name came up, and I went crazy for it. I mean, we're talking about a dude who is extremely talented. He's a good defender. He can get rebounds. He really knows how to space the floor. This dude can do it all. He's great. I mean, like, if you listen to the press conference after, too, Daryl Morey, everybody knows I'm the number one Daryl Morey hater. Like, I despise Daryl Morey. He said that somebody even offered a player, like a really high-level player.
I'm so curious about who that player was. We better find out someday, because I really want to know.
Because I have no idea who it is either. And I was, like, really, really, really confused by that, to figure out what that is. So, like, I guess we were getting really good value, too, for that pick. I guess a lot of people wanted Jared, and I'm just happy that he actually fell. Because once I saw Dalton and him being at that pick, I was like, just don't mess it up at this point, because you have two great options here. Just don't mess it up. And they actually made a good pick. Like everybody knows the Sixers are known for bad draft picks. It's known. Markelle Fultz, Jahlil Okafor, Zaire Smith. Like it's constant bad picks, and they finally do what they needed to do. So I'm happy with it.
Hold on a second. Let's slow down for a second, right? Jahlil Okafor and Markelle Fultz at the time of the draft were seen as two top prospects. The draft just happened. We don't know what's going to happen.
Michael Carter
I was happy
Williams.
when the Sixers drafted Jahlil Okafor, but that was before I actually knew about basketball. Everybody was saying that was a dumb pick at the time because they had just drafted Joel Embiid the year before and Nerlens Noel.
Like, all these guys were top prospects, and without a doubt, were not overdrafted. I guess if you want to use that word.
I mean, if you look at it, the only thing I was upset about with that pick was the fact that ESPN did not even show his basketball highlights. Like I get he's big on TikTok. Listen. People want to see basketball. Talk about
whether
that later.
They
I don't
showed
care.
His highlights or not, Jokic literally got drafted during an Arby's commercial. So, like,
I know,
but it can't be that bad.
It's different. It's different. Ooh, the pick is in. Let me hear this. I want Justin Edwards, to be honest. I was just looking at the top.
If I don't hear Bronny, I'm quitting. If I don't hear Bronny, I'm quitting.
Well, I won't hear it, but I'll see.
Bronny's not called. Chris is leaving the call.
Yeah.
If I don't hear Bronny, I'm quitting. Don't say nothing, Ben. Don't say nothing because I have it on my phone and I want to announce it when it goes through. Yeah, no, like I said, I really like the McCain pick though. I'm truly happy with it. You know, my mom was at a concert last night, and as she's at the concert because she really likes the Sixers, I kind of explained it to her and I sent her an article and a picture of him, and I was like, he's the man. I was like, I'm really happy. You know, like this we're talking about a guy who's just like really happy, and he doesn't let people get to his head either, which is really fun.
I also like how he was the one with the story where like he was doing it for his brother.
Yep.
Right at the draft. Yeah, I really like that story about him.
Paul Reed's about to go bye-bye.
That's
what that tells me.
Why did we just draft a center?
Because Paul Reed's about to go bye-bye.
I don't want this dude.
To be honest,
you guys needed a backup center though, because you weren't.
Yeah, to be honest,
I wanted Bronny James.
We were not getting Bronny James. He's going to the Lakers.
I'm upset. Sixers, this is a bad pick.
It's the second round. I don't care about the second.
Hold
on.
We had a shot at LeBron, buddy. We had a shot at LeBron.
Every team has
and we'd rather take a center.
You cannot get upset about a pick in the second round, bro.
Yes, I can. When Bronny James is on the board, yes, I can, because we had a shot at LeBron and we just messed it up.
The chances you get a player that plays
for everyone wondering,
round,
the pick is Adem Bona out of UCLA.
He's a really athletic big. I think that's a great pick to develop.
Real quick, there's a rumor going around right now. Hold on, wait, let me get that back. That
Bronny James was there.
Rich Paul is warning teams not to draft Bronny James, threatening that Bronny will play in Australia next season if selected to another team outside of LA.
Wow. That's got to be some sort of tampering or something. Like, how can that even be allowed?
No, you can do that. It's not.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, that's what Eli Manning did.
It is officially
That's what the second
time.
pick in the draft did. He didn't even work out for the Hawks, so we could go play for Washington for some reason.
All right, people. It's officially time to move on to our third segment because we still have 2 segments left. Segment 3, we are going to touch base on the NBA draft. I will go pick by pick, and we will give our quick rundown, you know, for time's sake. We'll give a quick rundown. Just be like, you know, tell me if you like it. Tell me if you don't like it. Give me one reason why. Sound good? If you like it, you don't totally have to explain it. Just like if you don't like it, explain a little bit. Obviously, I'll start the first overall pick of the draft was Zachary Reese-Asher. The kid's good. I don't think it's the pick. When Alexander Sarr is there, when Alexander Sarr is there, and you know he's the best guy in this draft, and you know you want to move off of Clint Capella, I feel like he's the pick, and then you could have shipped. Like you could have been smart here, realistically, and you could have shipped, you know, Clint Capella and some other stuff to try and get like another wing if you plan on keeping Trae Young around, who's your franchise guy. But like I said, I don't think it's a great pick. It's not bad because he's talented, but Alexander Sarr's there.
I have a similar view. I just don't get the hype. Why the hype grew so much? I don't see him as a better prospect than Ron Holland, who we'll get to later. I think they're a very similar level prospect. I think Atlanta should have looked to either trade down or. Even though Alex Sarr made it kind of clear he didn't want to go to Atlanta for whatever reason, I don't really know why. And, you know, I don't think we're going to find out why. But Alex Sarr was clearly the best talent. If you weren't going to draft him, I think they should have traded down and maybe gotten a guy. I don't want to spoil my opinions on some of the other prospects, but I think you should have traded down there.
All right. Jake, Gabe?
You can go ahead.
I think it's all right. I mean, Alex Sarr didn't really want to go to the Hawks. And at the end of the day, you get the first overall pick. You get the guy you want. They might have wanted Alex Sarr, but he said that he didn't really want to go to the Hawks. But you got the guy you wanted. And that's all that you can ask for when you have the number 1 pick.
Fair, Gabe?
I'm not going to pretend like I know like everything about these guys from France. It's the same deal as most of these international prospects, no matter how highly touted they are, except for Wembanyama. It seemed like everybody knew everything about Wembanyama. But at the end of the day, nobody
Wemby's
here
an
knows the
animal.
talent level that they're playing against. Nobody knows how good those average French league players are. Or I
Fair.
guess Alex Sarr played in like Australia or something, right? But like,
yeah, fair.
Nobody knows the talent level of the players that played with Reece Sachet. So it's difficult to say. I mean, he's the top prospect on the board that wants to, or at least as far as we know, wants to go to Atlanta. So I'm not going to knock them for it. It's all right. It's whatever it is.
Pick number 2, I think this is consensus. Everybody really likes pick number 2, Alexander Sarr to the Wizards.
Yeah. We don't have to spend time on that.
Fair. Fair. Good pick. 3, pick 3. I think this one at least should be a consensus too. Reed Shepherd to Houston. I love
this pick.
I love it.
I love this pick. I think you're getting a guy with the highest floor, maybe not the highest ceiling, but this guy is going to have a 15-year career in the NBA as at least a sharpshooting guy who can defend the ball pretty well. One of the best 3-point shooters in the history of college basketball. I mean, this guy's putting up crazy shooting percentages, and honestly, for me, that guy is probably the most likely to win Rookie of the Year next season, in my opinion, just because he's probably gonna start. I think Houston's gonna push to be a playoff team. I think he could average 15 points.
Trading for KD.
I was gonna bring that up.
If they trade for KD, maybe he goes to Phoenix. So who knows?
Big asset for them if they want to go through with that. Yeah.
Gabe, you like that pick too?
Yeah, it's solid. I mean, his stock rose so much. I feel like in the past couple of months, really. It hasn't been weeks. It's been a little while since the stock.
Yeah, it had
since
to been.
Since he had the 45-inch vertical or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was definitely months because nobody even really talked about this draft that much. Shockingly, this was kind of underneath the rug.
I feel like there's a lot of what is it going to be, Dillingham or Shepherd going first from Kentucky, and then it really just shifted the narrative a little while ago.
Yeah.
I don't mind the pick. Yeah, definitely Ben said,
predicted
low floor with a 3-point shooter like that.
Sorry.
Pick 4 and 5, I think, are also, at least for me, they're a consensus. I like both picks a lot.
Yeah.
I think I like Ron Holland as a player. I don't really like the fit with Detroit because he's a really good driver, but he cannot shoot very well, and Detroit really needed a guy that could shoot the ball. So I don't really like the fit. I think they were just going BPA, which I think is fine to do, especially in basketball.
What I'll say, though? I'm going to give Detroit credit for not taking a center because I was hoping that they wouldn't disrespect Jalen Duren like that.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad they did.
There was a lot of noise about that.
There was a lot of noise. I think it was kind of just a smokescreen. It's hard to believe a lot of the noise before the draft because all these teams leak stuff on purpose. They leak it for reasons. So, yeah. I really like that Stephon Castle pick. I think he fits perfectly alongside Wemby. So
fair. Pick 6. Does somebody want to say the name before I
I cannot.
I know the last name's pronounced Salon.
Okay. Well, we'll just stick with that.
Yeah. Salon. He's another guy from France. I haven't seen too much on him, and I guess with the talent that was there, I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of it. Because I feel like if you're Charlotte, you kind of still need to figure out what your plan is going forwards. I think my second favorite prospect in this draft was easily Dillingham, and I think letting him fall when you could have had a lineup of LaMelo, Dillingham, Brandon Miller at the 3, and then whoever you wanted the forward, then Mark Williams was kind of an L, but I don't know. Yeah. I gotta put more into this guy before I really give full credit on the pick.
Yeah, I think honestly, this guy just screams bust to me. He has the athleticism and a great build, but what else does he bring? He doesn't have a lot of tangible skills that are at the NBA level yet.
Fair. That's fair.
And he's going to Charlotte. I just don't think that's an ideal situation for a player to develop because it's Charlotte. So
that's fair. After that was Donovan Clingan at 7.
Great.
It's not a bad pick. I like it. I'm glad they didn't take a guard. You got too many guards in Portland.
Got a winner on your team. That's what I'll say.
I think Portland.
Yeah, for Portland, sure.
I feel like Ron Holland would have been a great fit for Portland, but obviously he went before that. I think Donovan Clingan was the best big in the draft. I was really worried that a guy.
You think he's better than Sarr? He
still got overdrafted, but I was really worried Zach Edey was going to go.
Wait, you think he's better than Sarr?
Well, Sarr's a different type of big. Like, Donovan Kling is huge. He's like 7'2". Sarr is a little bit of a kind of undersized guy that could end up playing the 4 in his career. He might be a 5, might be it's on the side, but I think he's the best. Kling is the best guy that's a pure big, if that's a better way to put it.
Fair.
I really like what he brings on both ends of the floor. I think there's no bust potential there. I think he has one of the higher floors in the draft. So yeah, I really like that pick.
Pick number 8 was Rob Dillingham. Obviously, everyone knows my opinion on this. I love the pick, especially that Minnesota traded for him, and he gets to play alongside Anthony Edwards, and he literally got traded for a bag of chips. Like, that's really stupid on San Antonio's part. I think I saw a comment on this, and I thought it was really funny, that said Wemby and Rob Dillingham would have fed families, which I agree with. I actually agree with that because Dillingham's really good. So consensus, everyone like that pick?
I mean,
I'm iffy about it. I'm not as high on Dillingham as everybody else.
Was Minnesota making the pick for them, or was he traded after? I don't think it was. I'm sure there was something in the works.
I think he was traded after. I think he was traded directly. I would like to think
that Minnesota had some say in it, because why would they go?
Yeah, no, I think the trade was made before the pick. I think.
Okay, yeah,
that's my guess. Is that
it was
they
a
at
good
least
pick
had
for the
something
Timberwolves, I think. But like, if on the Spurs side, no.
Moving on, pick number 9 was Zach Edey. I didn't think he was gonna crack the top 10. I thought he was gonna be 17, 18-ish. But
did you see the post that John Moran came out with after he got drafted?
Yeah, that was funny.
No, what was it?
It was a video of a guy opening a door and then just looking up at the guy because of how tall he is.
Yeah, that's funny.
Edey's
good, man.
Here's my thing. I just don't think he doesn't have a
Gabe,
super
you don't
high
get to
ceiling.
speak on this one.
He doesn't.
I don't get to speak.
No, because you're an Edey hater.
I'll still be an Edey hater. Listen, I'll say this. If Luka Garza went 55th overall or whatever it was, like a couple of years ago, Zach Edey should be playing in time 1 with DeMarcus Cousins.
Here's my thing with
Edey. Dude. Leave him alone, man. Leave him alone.
His ceiling. He's never going to be an All-Star because there's no way in the modern NBA he's going to be able to play the entire game. Not because of his stamina. He has excellent stamina. He played like full college basketball games at 7'6", which is incredibly impressive in its own right. But there's just going to be teams that play undersized centers against him, and he's going to get cooked. And he's going to get cooked in the pick and roll.
Yeah, cooked by St. Peter's and Fairleigh Dickinson.
I like Edey, man.
Both those guys were like 6'7".
I'm a fan of Edey. I don't hate this pick. I don't hate it.
Especially since I have a question for you, though.
He gets to play alongside Triple J. Triple J is a stud.
I think Memphis had to make that pick.
Edey? He's 7'3".
He's 7'3", right? And how many rebounds did he get his freshman year of college? How many rebounds did he get?
Okay, well that's a little bit.
I don't know the number.
Dude, he's been playing basketball for 2 years. Like,
sorry, Gabe, because guess who I want the Sixers to take in a few years?
Go up and get a rebound.
Guess who I want the Sixers to take in a few years, Gabe? The 7'9" kid in high school. Yeah, I want him.
That's going to Florida.
I want him. So guess what? You can talk bad on size, but I want that kid. And then guess what? When that kid's tearing up the league, I don't want to hear it.
I think Memphis was kind of hamstrung. They had to pick a center, and honestly, there wasn't really any other centers.
We got to start flying through picks. So
I don't think we have to do every first round pick, like just like the top 17, because I know
top 17. Top 17. We'll do.
I know that you guys want to talk about pick 17, so
I was gonna do the entire draft. We can start flying through. You just say yes or no, and then we'll go back to 2 picks. We'll just say yes or no real quick, and then we'll go back to 2 picks that I want to talk about. All right. Cody Williams, no?
Yeah.
At 10.
Yeah.
To Utah.
Good value.
Okay, fair. Buzelis at 11.
Great.
Yeah.
Chicago.
Amazing.
Don't know a lot about him, but it seems
he's a freak athlete. Great pick.
I like the pick.
Topic, 12 Thunder.
Lost my mind. Best pick of the draft.
Good pick.
Could not believe he fell that far, and he's a perfect fit.
Good pick.
Perfect fit. Sorry.
Solid name. I'll tell you that much.
Devin,
I don't know anything about him in the Serbian league.
All right, fair. He's good though. I'll tell you that he's good. 13 Devin Carter, Sacramento Kings. Okay. Feels like the Anthony Black. It feels like the Anthony Black pick from last year.
Great backup.
Fair. Jake, yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, I this is where I start like losing guys until around like 16, 17.
All right. 14, Bub Carrington. No.
Worst pick of the draft.
Easily. I agree. Easily. 15, Khalil Ware, Miami Heat. Nope. You have Bam Adebayo, bro. You just signed him for like another 3 years too.
They had to draft a backup big, but it was a very big reach. Very big reach.
No. Gabe, no. Jake, no.
It doesn't make sense to me, but yeah.
Fair. Jared McCain, pick 16, Philadelphia. Yeah.
We discussed.
Very solid pick.
Yep.
Yes. Dalton Connect, pick 17, Lakers.
So far.
Beautiful pick.
It doesn't really fit roster-wise, but if they trade Hachimura, which they might, that he'll start in.
It's a good pick.
I also think Connect was the best player to fall in this draft.
Agreed.
Behind Kopech for Ben, but the reason he didn't get picked as high is just because of his age, because he's 23 already, and NBA teams don't value that.
I just hate that. If you're gonna get a pure scorer like that, like who cares how old he is?
Well, and it's also the Lakers. They need to win now players. So I think
pick 18, Tristan Da Silva, Orlando.
Yeah.
All right, we all feel that way. 19, Jacoby Walter, Raptors.
Good fit for the team, I would say.
It's a good pick.
Good landing spot.
Pick 20, Jalen Tyson to Cleveland. Pretty good.
Horrible.
No, I don't think it's a bad pick at all.
I think it's a horrible pick.
Pick 21, Yves Missy.
Did not think he was going to be a first round pick, but
New Orleans. It's all right. He's not bad.
He's got good upside.
Pick 22, Deron Holmes, Phoenix.
I like it.
He's all right.
I really like the upside on that pick. It's just going to be, the question is, can he be a role player, because he's just used to being the best player on his team, and that's
Pick 23, AJ Johnson, Milwaukee.
Don't really get it. I thought they would pick a guy with more college experience, but he's a developmental piece, so we'll see.
Pick 24, Keyshawn George to Washington.
I think he's a good pick to pair.
I think it's a good pick.
He's a good pick.
I like this pick because the Knicks got draft capital back. That's why I like that pick.
Pick 25, Pacome.
The first player I didn't know anything about.
Yeah. Think of him as like Frank Ntilikina when they drafted him. Like,
yeah.
Emmanuel Mudiay, Frank Ntilikina,
yeah.
Well, I mean, Emmanuel Mudiay, I feel like people know.
Pacome is going to be the next. Pacome is going to be the next Nick Stauskas. Moving forward, pick 26, Dylan Jones. It's a solid pick.
Didn't know anything about him.
I did. It's a solid pick. Pick 27, Terrence Shannon Jr. No.
Great pick.
I'm not that big of a fan on it.
He fell because of a lawsuit that got overturned. Right. He would have been a top.
I've seen some highlights, but I'm just not.
He was really good in college.
Pick 28, Ryan Dunn, Denver. No.
But like he could also end up being good because he's
pick
good.
29, one of my favorite picks in the draft, Isaiah Collier to
great
Utah.
Upside.
I don't understand why he fell. Like,
I don't
29th is absurd.
I don't either.
And like, I'm not like outrageously high on him like you guys are. Like, I think he's gonna be good, but like, I'm just questioning like why he fell that much.
And lastly was pick 30, Baylor Shireman out of Creighton.
All I'm gonna say is, WTF NBA, why did you let Baylor Shireman fall the bus? And he fits so perfectly on that team. Like, I hate it so much.
He'll be good.
He's gonna be so good on that team. Like, why?
Moving to like 2 or 3 picks that I wanted to bring up and speak on a little. We'll start with this
Sorry,
one.
that new Clippers logo is horrible.
It's nasty. This is the first player I wanted to bring up real quick. Did anybody else hear what they said about Jacoby Walter last night? Okay. Do you know why his actual name is Jacoby?
Because Jordan and Kobe. That's insane.
Jordan and Kobe. So it's like
his parents named him that?
Kobe. Yes. Jacoby. It's supposed to be Jordan and Kobe combined.
Wow.
Which I thought was really, really funny, and I thought it was really sick for a name. Like, they get on it. I was like, yo, that's actually a fire name. So I hope he balls out. See, if that guy, right, wins a championship. He can pose like Kobe. Not you, Tatum. He can. Because he's got Kobe in his name, damn it. Not you. I hate Tatum, man. I hate him. Moving on. I wanted to go back a little bit of picks before that and touch base on one other guy, and then we'll move into our last segment. I wanted to touch base on, I know everybody in here kind of said it was a good pick, but Buzelis, he is going to be a stud. I am telling you, this kid is a freak athlete. A freak athlete. And for a big man, bro, he moves like Allen Iverson. It's crazy.
You just gotta hope that Bulls curse doesn't really hit him, because I feel like everybody that's going to the Bulls now, their career just automatically starts tanking.
Are you referring to the last power forward that they drafted as high as him, which was Patrick Williams?
The 4th overall pick.
Oh, yeah, they drafted Patrick Williams higher than that. Damn, they did draft him at 4. He was good in college, too, man.
What draft is that? I want to look up who was behind, because that's just absurd to me that they did that.
Oh. Dude, that was such a reach at the time. I think everybody, even at the time, that's one of those picks that at the time everybody thought it was bad, and then he ended up turning out to be a bad pick. So
Yeah. While Gabe's looking up for picks behind it, I want to touch base on one more thing in basketball. Then we're moving into our last segment. I forgot to bring this up a little bit earlier during giving out news, but JJ Redick signed a 4-year deal to become the Lakers head coach. I'll give my quick input. It's good. I think he's been good as an analyst. I think he was a good player. I think he was a good mentor. My thing here is, you probably, if LeBron stays in LA, right, you probably have 2 more years left of him, max 2. And that means you'll have 2 years of JJ with LeBron. Now, do you want JJ Redick to be there during your rebuild is my question. Because we don't know how well he can do in terms of trying to put pieces together for a rebuild, but we know that he'll know how to put a championship roster together.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to give him a 3 or 4 year deal, so their hands
I thought 2 would have been perfect, and then you extend them past that. If
Redick would have signed a 2-year contract's really weird. Like, that doesn't happen usually. And look, the Lakers are more than fine firing a coach. I think in the NBA and any other league, it's okay to fire a coach. Look at Detroit; they just hired a coach for the highest contract of all time, and then fired him a year after they paid him $100 million. So,
fair. It's fair. Gabe, who was picked behind him?
I still fault them for picking Patrick Williams at 4, but it's hard to judge with this draft. You had Denny Avdia at 9. You had Tyrese Halliburton at 12, but I mean, who knew at that point? Cole Anthony, Aaron Nesmith, Sadiq Bey was a solid pick. Emmanuel Quickley. At the end of the day, it's hard to judge with those guys. You don't know that Tyrese Halliburton is going to be who he is today at that point.
Fair.
But come on, just pick someone like Patrick Williams. Whatever. It is what it is. They could have gotten an Avdia. I think he would have been a lot better.
Fair.
But it happens.
Moving on to our last segment. We're touching base on the MLB, obviously. We've been, for our past few shows, we've been doing MLB as our last segment. Even though, now that basketball is kind of going to be over, MLB is going to start taking over as the number 1 segment. And same that, hockey's done. And then, we're going to start getting more back into football, and it's going to be fun,
Next week we can talk about the NHL draft, because that's happening Friday, I think.
It's this Friday.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we will touch base on that next show too. Not like a crazy amount. We'll touch base on it, but not like a crazy amount. What do we want to touch base on?
Can we do All-Star voting?
Yeah,
sure.
I sent you guys an article that showed.
Yeah. I have that pulled up already and stuff.
Discuss our opinions.
We could do it. How would you want to do it? Do you want to do AL first, then NL, and
AL is at the top of the article, so I figured we could just go in the order of the article.
Okay, and what are we just going position for position?
Yeah. Just if we agree or disagree with the All-Star kind of voting.
Okay. Starting off then, it's AL first base. Obviously, this is just off voting. The leader currently is Ryan Mountcastle.
It's concluded, so it's done. It's over. This is the final vote.
Oh.
This is the first round voting.
It's the first round, but this is where this is how it's how it is.
So how many rounds are they doing?
There's one more.
That's what I thought. And that'll determine this. Is this determining starters?
Yes.
The second round. So the way that it works, the first
is
round
like the bench guys, right?
The first round determines
is the starters, and the second is the bench. Okay.
And the second round, you can only choose who the starters between the top 2 guys that got the votes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I assumed. Anyways, okay, so then, because this first base, we got Ryan Mountcastle, then Vladdy Jr. obviously, then Josh Naylor, Anthony Rizzo, and Nate Lau.
First base, I disagree with completely. I think Josh Naylor should be number 1. No, I think Josh Naylor should be number 1.
Vladdy.
I think Ryan Mountcastle should have been 1. I think Josh should have been 2. And then those 2 guys are really close.
Why not we all disagree then? Gabe, pick somebody. pick between Anthony Rizzo and Nate Lau, because I'm going Vladdy. He picked Naylor.
Vladdy should not be an
He picked Mountcastle.
I can't go Rizzo because he's on the Yankees, so I'll go Lau. Why not? He should be. I'll put him at first.
Josh Naylor is leading all AL first basemen in home runs and OPS. He deserves to be the All-Star starter.
I'll tell you, Vlad.
Well, let me ask you guys this real quick. How, in the NBA, like the whole All-Star selection thing is massively affected by popularity. How bad is that in the MLB, would you say?
Bad.
Not as bad.
No, I think it's bad, Jake.
It's not as bad. Okay, I'm trying to defend you right here because the Phillies are going crazy with all of their voting because all of their voting, Trey Turner should not be in the
Rojas
game.
We'll get to him. I think he's top 7.
Castellanos and Brandon Marsh are both top 6. That should not happen. It should not happen.
Brandon Marsh, there's a case for that because the NL outfield has been horrible.
What are we hating on Brandon Marsh for now?
I'm not hating on Brandon Marsh, but he's not a top 6 outfielder in the league.
How do you know?
Come on.
How do you know?
All right, we got to keep going, bro. This is going to take forever. So.
Second base is Altuve, Simeon.
Altuve, yeah.
That's fine.
I was going to finish saying the last 3 names, damn it. Jorge Mateo,
sorry.
Michael Massey, and Jimenez, Andres Jimenez. Third base.
Jimenez should be higher, but other than that, it's fine.
We have J. Rem, Westberg, Devers, Oswaldo Cabrera. You just want to talk about guys. Oswaldo Cabrera and IKF is in there. What's
Dude,
going
IKF's been
on?
good this year. IKF's been good. I'm telling you, he should be 4.
What is going on here? I'll take J. Ram. Westberg's been real good, but I'll take J. Ram.
J. Ram has the top 70 RBIs.
The top 3 there is perfect. Those are the top 3.
Shortstop. This one's tough. Gunnar Henderson 1, Bobby Witt, Volpe, Seager, and Bichette. It's either Henderson or Bobby Witt.
3, dude. Volpe's not okay.
Well, Volpe hasn't been bad, but
he hasn't been bad. But
he's been bad as of late. Yes, he went on a really bad slump. But compared to all the other
Carlos Correa?
Do we think it's Gunnar?
Has been really good.
Do we think it's Gunnar or Bobby Witt though?
It's Gunnar. Gunnar is AL MVP right now.
Fair.
Whoa,
Fair.
AL MVP. Whoa, somebody's on pace. Someone's on pace to get 62 home runs again.
Yeah, well.
Well, speaking of that guy, outfield: Aaron Judge 1, Soto 2, Tucker, Kwan, Santander, Kowser, Verdugo, Mullins, and Trout.
I'm going to be honest. I think Steven Kwan should be there over Tucker, but they're really close, so it's fair enough.
Man.
Yeah, he's been good. And Tucker's been hurt as well, so I don't know if he's going to
Steven Kwan is batting like 380.
Over every outfielder I just said, give me Mike Trout. No, I'm playing. I'm playing, guys.
Mike Trout's in 9th place somehow.
I love Mike Trout, though. Man, Mike Trout's my boy. Moving on. Catcher. Adley, Salvi, Trevino, Jansen, and Diaz.
Yeah, Adley deserves it.
It's fine.
Yeah,
I think the outfielders were fine too. Salvi, anyways, with Judge and Soto, it's fine. DH, you got Jordan, Stanton, David Fry, who's shockingly been pretty good.
Where's my boy David Fry, bro? Put him in number 1.
He's been pretty He's been shockingly pretty solid. Ryan O'Hearn and Josh Jung.
David Fry should be number 1.
Jordan's gonna win it one way or another, so it don't make a difference. Moving on. Where's your obsession?
You just don't get the memes, okay? Just
okay. Moving on. NL first base: Harper, Friedman, Olsen, Alonso, and Cronenworth.
Harper is number 1 in all of baseball and All-Star votes. He's the only player over 2 million.
Harper's gonna win MVP.
Oh yeah, because the Phillies fan base is just a cult.
Harper's gonna win MVP.
I don't understand the Phillies fan base with Harper. because at work we're listening to the Phillies radio because we got Phillies fans in there, and they're saying they don't like Harper. I don't understand.
Harper's gonna win MVP. I don't know what Phillies fans you're listening to, but
no, you're probably listening to WIP, who just says dumb stuff sometimes.
Fair,
but they have some good guys. Some guys are just questionable, but don't want to say too much because I want to work.
Second base, Ketel Marte, Luis Arias, Bryson Stott, Ozzy Albies, and Bryce Terang.
I'm glad that Ketel Marte's first because Luis Arias was first for a while, and that's only because he's batting like 330, which, yes, is very impressive, but
Ketel Marte, honest, I'd rather see Luis Arias win it over Ketel Marte just because of my hatred for Ketel Marte, but whatever. I think it's fine. I think it's fine, though, the second base. Third base is so accurate. It's so accurate.
No, except Manny. Why is Manny Machado there?
Yeah, Machado's second.
Machado's been horrible.
I'm saying accurate as in like Bohm be at one. Like it's easy. Bohm should obviously be one.
Joey Ortiz is the obvious second one.
Yeah, Machado. I don't know how he's there.
That's fair. Muncy, Machado, Ortiz, Muncy, and Riley. I think Riley should be a little bit higher too.
I think Ryan McMahon should be second. That's who I think should be second.
Yeah, I like Ryan McMahon isn't even in the top 5 is insane.
Yeah, he's not. And he's been I think the second best third baseman in the NL.
Shortstop, we got Mookie Betts, Turner, Ellie, Adames, and Orlando Arcia. Orlando Arcia can kick rocks.
You know what's fun? Trey Turner could end up starting because Mookie Betts is hurt.
Yeah, and Trey Turner has also been hurt, so I don't understand how he was number 2.
Love you, Trey.
I think Willie Adames should be number 2.
No, why? I think Ellie? Over Ellie?
Yes.
Get out of here.
He's struck out over 100 times already this season. That's crazy.
Ellie is not as good as you say.
He has 35 stolen bases, but he's struck out over 100 times already.
You're mad. Don't talk bad on Ellie.
Adames has the power numbers that no other shortstop in the NL has.
Hey, listen. You're mad that when the time comes, right, and the Reds make the playoffs, that they're going to upset the Dodgers and that you guys won't be able to do it. You'll see. Keep talking bad on Ellie.
I'm not mad about Ellie.
I like the outfield, bro.
But just like
enough with the crap on Ellie. All right, moving on. Outfielders, we have Profar, Yelich, Teoscar, Tatis, Marsh, Castellanos, Rojas. Somehow
there's been a trade in the NBA.
Bellinger and Ramos. Hold on, before we get to that, I think Teoscar should be higher. Same with Profar. We got 2 positions left. Then you could give out the trade. Marsh and Castellanos and Rojas all being back to back. So funny.
That's insane.
Dude, the fact that Johan Rojas is 7th and he's in AAA right now.
I think Profar being 1 so fair though. I don't know why he's deciding to play good out of nowhere. Like he's always been okay, but not as good as he is right now. But catcher, we got William Contreras, which I think is fair. JT seconds, fair. Will Smith, Sean Murphy, and then Wilson Contreras. I think it's fine.
Have any issues with that.
Then Leslie, we have DH with Shohei, Ozuna, Schwarber, Reese, and Solano.
That's honestly the most perfect position group of the entire thing.
For a while, people were complaining that Ozuna wasn't over Ohtani, but this past week, Ohtani has jumped above Ozuna.
Yeah, Ohtani's been hitting like crazy.
It sucks that Kyle isn't going to be an All-Star though, because he's had a really good season.
What's this trade that you have to announce?
Reggie Jackson just got traded to Charlotte from Denver for 3 second-round picks. It doesn't sound like a lot, but Denver getting 3 second-round picks is pretty useful.
Oh my god, is any of them in this draft?
I think it was one in this draft. I don't know. It didn't say. I'm just looking at the TV.
They're taking Bronny. Special.
When do the Lakers pick? I just want to
55.
Oh, we're almost there. We're almost there.
We are almost there.
I guess we'll see. I guess we'll have to wait and update it on the next show because.
Why you think they're gonna take Bronny at 55?
Yeah, I think so.
What pick is it now?
49.
We're at 49.
We'd have to wait a while, so I think we'll discuss it next.
It'll be on the next show. The next show we'll have that. We'll have a little bit on the NHL draft.
The U.S. would have won the Copa America by that point, I think. Or we'll be in the quarterfinal. I don't know.
We could. We'll see closer when the time comes. It'll be good. It'll be a good episode. And then obviously we've been quickly running through MLB each time to kind of just give quick updates and stuff and keep it going. But coming up, we're gonna have some real big MLB shows for all the baseball fans out there. So I know Jake's really excited for that. He's getting tired of talking hockey. So that'll be it though for today's show. So stay hyped, stay hungry, and keep the frenzy alive. We'll see you on the next one.